Can you pick up a free agent here? I mean, you could trade for a J Happ, a Marco Estrada, two guys right there that are going to be free agents this year. Happ would be a good trade for you.
We've been clearing contracts and money, preparing for the next free agent class.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah, exactly. I am all for Bryce Harper on the Braves.
You could go there. You guys got the cap space.
We do. And, everyone says, oh, we don't spend money. Well, we have the money. So what are we planning to spend it on? Our GM has said there's no one that we are not going to look into if it makes sense for the team. And he makes complete sense. We have the money. We are going to have the spot open for him. It's really just going to be a matter of where he picks. So
he'll get $400+ million from anybody. And Atlanta does look more and more feasible now. I mean, if you just think about Philly does, Atlanta does, that East looks really good for him right now.
I think he's going to stay National League. I actually had the Braves at about number 4 on the list. I think I favor the Nationals. I think they're like the front runners, due to tenure and familiarity.
Really? I think
I don't think so. I think he's like, you've had your time. You guys can't even win a playoff series. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I don't know. I don't know all of the business behind it. Everybody's throwing around, well, he's going to go to the Cubs because he's friends with Chris Bryant. Okay, how much does that actually affect anything?
That's not going to happen, I don't think.
I think he might go to the Cubs just because they can move some guys around, and I think that there's some guys that still have value they could get rid of.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that he would make sense for. But of course, I'm a Braves fan, so I'm saying we have the best option for him.
I mean, you guys do. I mean, it's a really good option to go there, and I mean, you guys got money coming up off the books. You have so many guys that are in team control and arbitration right now that don't even matter. Exactly. And a guy like Brandon McCarthy making $8 million next year on a club option. I mean, just get rid of him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's $8 million more for
that was the entire purpose of the Matt Kemp deal. Was we want to take on all of the salary this year so that we have nothing on the books for next year.
Yep, and it's smart.
Yeah.
Getting over to the Cubs, though, I just feel like they've got a lot of bad. They've made a series of missteps. I feel like.
Right. I agree.
They've missed on a few guys here.
With Darvish isn't quite panning out physically or mentally. He's a bit of a head case. Jose Quintana, I felt was always overrated, and I've been happy the Red Sox, stayed away from him.
I was too, because we were in talks too, and I was like, I don't think so.
Right, and Lester's still there for big money. Hayward's there for big money, and I know I'm missing one more. Oh,
and they're going to have all of these. They're going to have all these guys that they're.
Yeah, if they take on Harper,
pay money for.
Right? If they take on Harper, they're not signing Rizzo and maybe even Bryant at this point. Right. And I don't know. I really feel like the Nationals are number one, and that's just my thoughts. I don't have anything concrete to base that on, obviously.
Well, I don't think any of us do. It's really because publicly, he and his agent have said we're not discussing this throughout the season. Of course, there's like talks here and there, like his friend said this or whatever, but
yeah,
I think it's really just based on everybody's opinion at this point. So
yeah, and the Phillies are in a similar position as you guys, and their owner loves to spend money, like stupid money. So
well, I heard an interesting theory last week, and they are obviously talking about trying to get Trout and how he would be a good fit for them, but that obviously wouldn't be this year. It would be next year. So do they hold off on trying to go after Harper in hopes of getting Trout, or do they wait, or do they go after Harper and just see what happens? I don't know. But
I think
because
it's either,
that's hometown and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think they'll go after Harper, and it just is like, is your consolation Mike Trout? I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point if you get one of them. I think Trout's out of LA though, because if LA doesn't make a serious move, I think he's out. I mean, picking up Ohtani and getting some of these guys is like good, but I think Trout gave him that. He gave him a real good deal coming back there. He didn't need to in the first place, and
I think
Philly
he'll stay there
would be
too.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And
also, I think Trout doesn't come off until 2020, so that's 2 seasons after this one. And if you look at the Santana signing, which hasn't really worked out so far, and Arrieta, that doesn't really line up with the money that they've just spent either. So I think they'll go in for Harper, and I'd also consider the Dodgers to be a dark horse for him as well.
The Dodgers are always a dark horse for anybody with money.
Yeah,
right. It depends on what he wants. If he's going after money, that's one thing. If he's going after a ring, I feel like that's a completely different thing.
Yeah, I agree. So, that depends where. And Trout's a free agent in 2021, so that's his free agent year. So
right. That's So that's after 2020 is his last controllable year, I think.
Right.
With
so
LA.
Yeah, it depends what Harper wants. Does he want to go somewhere does he want to go to a rebuilder? Does he want to go to a team that's on the come up like Atlanta? They're not a rebuilder anymore, but they're not a World Series
we're not there
yet. Favorite. Right. No, does he want to go to a team like the Dodgers that's loaded with talent, the Red Sox, the Yankees? He's not going to go to the Red Sox. He's not going to the Yankees anymore. Or does he want to go somewhere where he's just going to get paid and just not be bothered? Is he going to go to Chicago, like the White Sox, and just get paid $500 million?
That's another one. That's a very excellent point, because they're most of their top prospects are in the upper levels of the minors. So
yeah, they're a few years away. So does Trout want to go? Does Harper want to do what he did in Washington, which was come up, see out the rebuild, and then be good, or does he just want to go? It all depends, like you said. Where does he want? And I don't know Bryce Harper. I haven't seen anything about him being like a money hungry guy or I'm going to win over anything guy. So I don't even know what type of duty is.
Yeah, he and Bryant could still, sleep in bunk beds if he's a White Sox. I mean, they're in the same city.
They could still be besties. I mean,
right, Thunder Buddies for life.
Oh yeah, Thunder Buddies. I mean, the Cubs could make the room. They could move on from Lester, and somebody would take Lester's contract, and Hayward has a player option, and just like David Price, you never know, he might opt out and leave and go somewhere else. So you just never know.
The Giants have also been in the mix as well.
Such a weird team. The Giants are such a weird team to me.
It's very strange.
Well, they spend money. They're willing to spend money, but nobody ever wants to go there for whatever reason. No,
and they spend money on old players that just like McCutchen and now Longoria, and they still have Hunter Pence, and they got Belt, and they got those guys are good. And is Posey going to be moved from catcher to first base soon? Like, what is going on? They have no pitching besides Bumgarner, who just can't stay healthy. Sharks sucks. I hate that guy.
Yeah,
he's trash.
It's definitely not a good time to be a Giants fan. One more thing on Harper. I kind of tweeted out today. I said, if the Nationals, if this was the first year of his $400 million deal, the Nationals would still be a third place team. That doesn't change them. Now they're just even more fleeced, or handcuffed than they were before. So I'm not even convinced that not having him is necessarily a bad thing. There's
right. It would have to make sense. We hear it every single year about being a Braves fan. You hear it every single year. Oh, the Nationals first place, and they always end up, to me, being just overrated. But right now they have lots of injuries and that sort of thing. But like you said, Harper's not putting them in the top of the division. So
right.
No, they're another great Washington team, like sports team franchise that just can't make it past the second round of the playoffs over that hump. Obviously, the Capitals just did it in hockey. They're in the Stanley Cup Finals, but they've been a laughingstock the last couple of years. The Wizards, same way. The Nationals, we know what they're going to do every year. They're going to make the playoffs and lose in the wild card round or lose in the playing game.
Harper's on his fourth manager, too, already, since he's, made his pro debut.
Does that bug him? Is that a thing that, he's pissed about? I mean, right now Washington's in fourth in that division, but they're only 3 games out of first. So after this weekend, Atlanta could get swept, Washington could sweep, and then all of a sudden they flip-flop, considering that they play Miami the next 3 games, and you guys play Boston.
We've been teetering in first place.
Yeah,
and I keep thinking the Phillies are going,
How serious do you guys take the Phillies? Because, I mean, they're on basically the same exact trajectory and at the same exact point in their rebuild as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've played them. So the other night, McCarthy had his 4th start against the Phillies this year. We've literally played them so much this year already, and now we're not going to see them again until September.
That's how we are with the Rays. We don't.
It's very strange. Now. Yeah, it's very strange how it worked out, and we could be in 2 totally different places come September. I mean, I don't know. The Nationals could be first place, and both of us could be well behind them. So I don't know. But someone tweeted the other day, it's really nice to be scoreboard watching again. Like, caring what the other teams are doing in our division is really nice, because it means that the games we're playing really matter.
Yeah, it means the games in May. Like, scoreboard watching in May is a great thing.
I know, it's great.
Yeah, we're kind of starting to get back into that with New York now, finally, and
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I mean, I watch. It feels like almost as many Yankee innings. I mean, if the Red Sox are off and they're on, I mean, that's automatically the game I'm gonna watch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's like, well, the Braves lost, but let's go look and see how everyone else is doing. Oh, well, they're losing too, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So
100%.
And the Mets were off to a good start, too. So, I mean, that division was looking insane, but they've kind of come back down to earth, and they've had their injuries and whatnot. And I was wondering maybe things would bounce back once Harvey was gone, because, I mean, he was a nightmare in every sense of the word with them. Yeah.
The Mets are just a sorry franchise, and they deserve bad things because they make bad moves. I feel nothing but bad things for the Mets. I do. They just, every year, it's just like they don't have a good training staff, so everybody gets hurt. They have an awful manager every year. They have a bad manager, and they do this every year. You got all these guys, and just after DeGrom and Syndergaard, you got nobody. And hitting wise, you got like 3 guys that can hit, and it's nobody. And they just don't draft well. They're just a bad franchise.
I agree. Yeah. One of the top 3 worst. I mean, the Marlins are actually, one of those 3 as well, and in the same division. So
yeah, that division is your division, obviously, Stacy, is so weird because
it is. Yeah.
The last couple of years, it was no offense, it was probably the laughing stock. No,
that's fine. I get it. Believe me.
And you know all about it. And now this year, it's like, oh wait, this might be one of the better divisions in baseball. All of a sudden,
right?
You got the Phillies, you got the Nationals, you got Atlanta. The Mets started out so hot, and they're going to go teeter off, and you never know with Atlanta.
Well,
and Philly,
I feel like this is the negative Atlanta sports fan in me, but I feel like we probably won't sustain this for the entire season, but I don't know, because maybe we will pick up pieces, like you said, and improve one piece at a time. But I said something the other day about holding my breath. Like, when is this not going to be fun anymore? And when are we going to come back to where they say we should be?
Yeah, when are you going to fall off the cliff is basically like what you're waiting for. But at the same time,
right.
You could fall off the cliff, but so could Philly. New York already started, and then all of a sudden you're like, and Washington's not elite. You're like 5 games out with 20 games to go. You're in a good spot.
Yeah. I'm. However the rest of the season goes, I'm today. Well, not today because there's no game, but I'm having fun right now watching my team, that has not happened. It hasn't been really fun to watch this team in 4 years.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'd be an optimist, really. I mean, every year, one team wins a division or finds its way into the playoffs, and I don't know. it's easier for me to be a little more comfortable because I don't have the emotion
right.